Not quite the game I was hoping for to come back to these post game lives with everybody. Um, another overtime loss. Can't quite figure out 3-on-3. Um, it's come out of the break as we went into the break in that sense. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a good holiday season. Everybody's ready for New Year's. Everybody's happy and healthy. It's good to be back with everybody. I've missed this a lot. Just an unfortunate result for this one. We'll start things off. Looks like Sergeant Pickles is first up. Hello again, dear friends. Darkness yet again finds us. Yeah, unfortunately, it was one of those games. Lindsay, it's the Emerald City Tankathon, boy. Pew 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 pew. Big sigh. We really should have won that game. Yeah, we should have. Lots of shots. Once again, a team was trying to keep the Kraken to the perimeter. Kraken were willing to, accept that and try to do things from the perimeter. But if you're going to play from the perimeter, you just need absolute volume of shots. And I know the shots on goal total is pretty impressive. I'll get the exact number here. Let me get into the app, get it working, because it had to be a decent amount, 36. But certainly in like the first period, there were so many more opportunities for shots that the Kraken just weren't taking. They try those cross ice passes in the offensive zone, but like every time it's like 3 feet behind the guy. You know what I mean? They got to figure that one out. Again, make that pass using the goalie's pads. That's all I'm saying. Make it a rebound. You shoot low and hard, and that thing's going to bounce right back out at an angle. Work the geometry just like you would use the boards, but use the goalie's pad. Create some chaos in front of the net. Do that to get it to your line mate on the other side. Don't try to just blindly throw it across where it's either picked off or maybe you just miss the pass. So that's what I would say to those moments. But otherwise, hockey's back. Like, I greatly appreciate just the fact that we were able to watch the Kraken. Everybody seems to be doing okay, either recovering from COVID or, dealing with that situation. That's good. Obviously, health is, the number one important thing. And then just the fact that we get to enjoy hockey. That is also very, very important. So really happy about that. Nathan, I only started watching at the start of the third period, but my goodness, how frustrating. Yeah, especially if you only watch that third period. Kraken really dominated. They dominated through most of the game regardless, but certainly like the second period was basically played the entire time in the Flyers zone. They just couldn't get anything going from it, unfortunately. But yes, okay, you get the goal waved off because the goalie interference, and it was probably the right call. Lauzon comes back, gets another one. It's good. Okay, you've got the lead, third period. Let's go. You guys have been dominating this whole game. And then it reminded me of the end of the Arizona game, the first Arizona game way back in the. I guess it's still the only one, where they just were watching. Like they were like, "Oh man, cool, we finally did it. We got the lead," and then they just like laid off. And JVR just comes in and scores like just untouched. Nobody was even looking at him. I don't know what was going on there. Kraken still have to figure that one out. Thought they started okay though, and so that's an improvement. Happy about that. There's actually a couple things that I noticed that were better than going into the break, that I do think they were able to take some of that time off, do like Zoom meetings, do some video coaching, get everybody back kind of on the same page, work on some stuff in practices. Like I said, they looked better playing from the perimeter than before. I still want to see some more shot volume from that. And centers, they were at least sometimes covering the slot. They were doing that. We talked a lot about that in that those last couple games before the break. And there was one especially, and I'll diagram it on the whiteboard a little bit later. I'll catch up on some comments first, where Jared McCann came in, and it was clear that it was a design because both Larson and Lauzon went off to play a rush, knowing that McCann was going to cover the slot for them. And I was just like, Whoa, this is awesome. All right, like they're playing like a good hockey team here. This is cool. So glad to see that they did use the time off to work on some stuff, kind of get on the same page. That is a positive, and do walk away with a point from tonight. So there is that as well. Alex, for the night is dark and full of overtime losses. That's a good one, Alex. I like that one a lot. Lindsay, hashtag pain for Shane. It seems like we're there. Joshua, at least we have hockey back. 1,000% Joshua, couldn't agree. And we're gonna get a lot of hockey in the next couple days. Got it at the Flames game tomorrow, then a day off, and then Vancouver, I think it is on what would that be, Saturday? That's all these holiday weeks and stuff. It gets me all thrown off what day of the week it is. Superfly, hey guys, yeah, we got a point and threw it away on our own again. Yeah, I mean it was a Kraken game. It was a Kraken game. Four Horsemen, JVR and Max Domi really bringing it against the Kraken. That is for sure. Those are both guys that we talked about a lot pre-expansion draft about the Kraken maybe drafting and bringing in. Obviously, Ron Francis went in different directions, but yes, they've made the Kraken pay for that decision. That's for sure. Nathan, hard to fault Grew on the second goal and the overtime goal. Yeah, the overtime goal, he played it, best you can. Ideally, you want somebody to get back to Provorov so he can't take that much time to just deke the goaltender into oblivion, but it is what it is. And yes, on the second goal, he had no help from really anybody on the team. JVR was just left all alone. The first goal, I think, from JVR, the power play goal in the first period, that was just a sick shot. Like, I thought the Kraken played it pretty well. Like, what are you going to do? This guy he's a sniper. He can one time, with a guy on him like that and pick a corner kind of clean up top. That was an impressive shot from JVR on the first goal. So I'd argue Grew almost couldn't do anything on that one. That one's just like a really nice play for the other team. But then the other ones were breakdowns in front of Grubauer. This is from Four Horsemen, these next two. Donskoy almost had one. He did, oh my gosh, when he was making all those moves, and he just lost it on the last one. But I legit thought it was happening. I was like halfway standing up. I was like, this is it. This is it. This is going to be awesome. I'm like, what kind of t-shirt design are we going to make to, commemorate this moment? It's going to be awesome. But, alas, here we are again, unfortunately. But it's gonna come. He's playing so well. He's playing so well. Even though the goals aren't coming in, he's playing so well. And then Four Horsemen again with Lauzon with a strong game. Yes, kind of everywhere too. Offensively, obviously, he had the one goal taken away, and then he scores the other one to give him the lead in the third. And then he played pretty solidly in the defensive zone too. He's made a lot of strides this year. Kind of gotten back to the player we thought we were getting when everything started. It's just one of those things. I still think there are some times where he can get a little puck watchy in the defensive zone, but he's made amazing strides throughout the year, and so I'll give him credit for that. 35 years in here, only 9 likes. Come on, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't already. We'll do that, and check out the merch in the description below. Look at this. I remembered after the break. I remembered. Let's see. Hunter Grew with another lackluster performance when all said and done. Only 22 shots against. He should do better as the defense held up their side of the bargain. I don't know. As we just talked about, I don't know that the defense did. You got to have some form of coverage. Somebody trying to either take away the pass on the second JVR goal or, so either get in the passing lane, get in the shooting lane, have one of the forwards back checking and kind of bugging him, being on him. Like the fact that he was just kind of there. They weren't even, they pressured the puck carrier. I forget who it was who sent the pass across, but they pressured him enough that he had to get rid of it. But if he's got somebody wide open like that, I mean, you look at Alexiak, I think it was, who was in front. Like he's just like, he instantly sees what's going to happen and he goes into desperation mode to try to shot block, but it's just too late. So I just think the defense got a little, I don't know. I don't want to say lazy, but it's the only word that's coming to mind because it's late right now. But they just got a little, puck watchy. They were watching the play instead of, trying to, keep things from happening, staying on it, head on a swivel. That's what happened there. Aaron, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone in Seattle is staying warm. Also, I hate the Flyers. That's a heavy sigh. I dislike the Flyers too, especially as a former Penguins fan. Never been much of a Flyers guy. Yes, I hope everybody's up in Seattle enjoying the snow. We've been getting a ton of rain down here in Southern California, but I'm bummed out. The trip got canceled. Was really looking forward to it. Looking forward to taking Dog Skoy up there because I know she'd enjoy the snow. We're gonna try to take her to the mountains down here and get some snow in for us. But yes, hope everybody's doing well with it. Hope if you got to commute through it or anything, everybody's staying safe because that's always number one priority. Four Horsemen, my favorite line remains Yanni plus any two other people. I'd agree with that, Four Horsemen. Yanni is the man. It is nice to have him back. That is for sure. Every absence now, it's really noticeable when he's not there, just from an on ice and just like personality bigness, right? He's a presence out there, and it's just so much fun watching him play. So happy that we have him. Alex, welcome to Emerald City. I've seen this movie before. I like that one too. Gotta get like a movie poster done with that as the tagline. Aaron, first question. Does this team have any kind of strategy or system for overtime? Because I don't see it. It seems like we talk about this after every overtime. No is the answer. Or if it's there, I don't know what it is. They are pretty passive in 3-on-3 overtimes. Very passive, I would say. That's the only constant that we've seen really through all of their overtime games is just them kind of being passive, them trying to ride it out for a shootout, I guess. Majority of overtimes are always played in their own zone, and yet at the same time they'll give up a large stretch pass like we saw at the end there for Provorov. So just got to figure that one out. I don't know. Michael, this team just doesn't have enough talent to compete night in, night out. Played better than Flyers whole game and just can't score. Also, 3-on-3 is not the format for a team lacking elite scoring. I agree that the 3-on-3, yes, the lack of elite scoring for them definitely hurts in the 3-on-3. It's not just scoring, it's also speed and skill, like, puck skills. That's one of those things that's just some guys have it, some teams don't. And the Kraken, based on being an expansion team and everything, most of those guys are not available to expansion teams. As far as the team not having enough talent to compete it night in, night out, we kind of talked about this on the podcast on Monday. I think that they do. Like, every game they go into it and you feel like they have a shot. They're not going to get blown out. They're not going to get steamrolled. As you said, they played better than the Flyers the whole game. They can't score, and I think it's just they can't figure out what they want to do offensively. They've tried many things all year long. Like I said, they're seeming to embrace this. We're going to try to be a perimeter team now, but they're not, for me, shooting enough and/or shooting quick enough. If you're going to be a perimeter team and you're going to take all these shots, you have to make sure that the moment the puck touches your stick, you're releasing it on a shot, whether it's a wrister or a slap shot. Too many times you see this, and we've all made the comments about Mark Giordano kind of throughout the season, but really everybody was doing it tonight, where guys were collecting the puck, taking a second, and to kind of load up and then let go of like a wrister or a snapshot. And I mean, I lost track of how many times the Flyers were able to use that time to get in the shooting lane and block the shot. So it's one of those things, if you're going to play that way, know that you just have to be releasing shots like crazy and just throw them at the net Ovechkin style, and know at some point they're just going to start going in. Especially against goalies like Martin Jones. I mean, as we saw tonight, his blocker is still bad. Like, that's kind of been a thing for him. He is a leaky guy. Like, he's always been that way. So I thought, I liked the idea of sticking with the perimeter stuff, but you just got to take those shots. You got to try to get them through, especially on these goalies that have been known to let them through. Four Horsemen, we don't seem built for overtime. Yeah, I've kind of addressed that already. Lindsay, for as much grief as we give Lauzon, he had a good game, 1.5 goals and a strong defensive effort aside from that unnecessary roughing penalty. Yeah, and I thought that was a soft call, to be honest. Like, I get it because of the way it probably looked full speed to the ref, but at the same time, like, I got to think 99 out of 100 times the refs letting them get away with that. Considering that they parted immediately afterwards, like he essentially just did like a swim move to get around the guy. Um, so I thought that was a rough call. I'm not gonna blame Lazon for that one. Striatic, why can't we have nice things? I don't know, Striatic. I don't know. Um, hey, when are we going to get the tentacle to come down from the rafters? And the balloons that Ryan Clark pointed out on Twitter. I don't know if everybody saw that, but the big tentacle and the like ice chips, ice spike things are all still up in the rafters. Didn't see it today, but still on watch for that. And of course the mascot. They did say December. They're running out of time. Hopefully we'll see it tomorrow for that Calgary game. Daros, Jeremy Lauzon gave up his life of crime for a brief time, and I love that for him. Yeah, I mean, third person to bring it up, right? Jeremy Lauzon, really good game tonight. Happy to see that. Let's see. Hey, I mean, at least Seattle is playing. U.S. teams get to play, but Canadian games are being rescheduled. And the World Juniors got canceled. Just trying to be optimistic, but at least they got to play. 1,000% agree with you on that one. Is it Nick? Feel free to give me a pronunciation in chat. Sorry if I mispronounced it. Yes, again, so happy to have hockey back. Brutal stretch with no NHL and certainly with no Kraken. Definitely missed that. And yes, things in Canada are different. I was, we were all surprised, I think, a little bit to see Calgary's coming down for tomorrow's game. And then, yeah, the World Juniors thing is just a nightmare. Make such a big deal about why you cancel the women's tournament, saying it's about COVID, but then you don't bubble the U20 men's tournament, and then that becomes an issue. Like, I don't know what the IIHF was thinking through all that. Yeah, it's brutal. I feel really bad for all the guys that were there, especially all the O2 guys. This was their last chance, and they've kind of been, screwed out of it the last couple of years because of COVID. So I know they're going to try to come back and figure something out, but it is unfortunate, and you got to think that some of that was just down to poor planning, certainly around the hotel situation. Superfly, you're completely right, Dylan. All right, I'm just going to leave it there. I don't need to read the rest, right? You can't really look at shot totals with this team, given that dump and chase and cycling, they always stay outside. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. The shot total for anything, right? Goaltending, it can be, like I said, Grubauer. If his defense lets him down, it doesn't matter how few shots he's getting or anything like that, as we've seen. That's partly contributing to his bad save percentage this year. All the soft and leaky goals obviously are contributing to it greatly too. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. Autumn, at the game, great environment. Ultimately losing is what's best for the club. So just happy it was competitive and went to OT. Yeah, but if you're trying to lose, you don't want that overtime point. But it is fun. It's hard not to want to root for them. You know what I mean? Especially because they're capable of it. And I think that's been my sticking point with this whole, I just can't quite get on board with the tanking, is because I don't know. I know that they're capable of being better, but yes, at some point the math is not going to work out, and it will make more sense to be rooting for L's. So feel free for anybody who does do it. That's where I'm at. Sergeant Pickles, the instantly letting in one after scoring thing is by far the most frustrating. And then a couple quick agreements from Josh and Aaron. Yeah, 1,000%. I don't know. Oh my gosh. I can't stand that. I mean, it's rough. It's really, really rough. And it's not a ton of reason for it either. They should just be able to handle that. Let's see. Yeah, I'm more miffed about giving up the lead so quickly and easily than losing in overtime. Agree with you, Striatic. I mean, it's because it's one of those, it'd be one thing if the Flyers had to work for it a little bit, but it's the fact that they were able to just kind of skate in the zone, make a pass, take a shot, boom, there's a goal. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. We barely had time to celebrate. Excuse me as I get this empty water bottle away from Afra real quick. Sorry, she uses those as toys, but I know it can get very, very loud. Let's see. Nathan, still frustrating to dominate. You get the go-ahead goal after getting one waved off. You have all the momentum, then bad defense strikes again. Again, it's a gut punch. In some ways, though, I guess it shows growth for the team that they still got to overtime, because back in like that Arizona game, right? They didn't. They would have just given up after that. They would have let another quick one go in from the Flyers, and they wouldn't have even gotten the point. So in that sense, progress. Lindsay, I agree at this point. I want exciting games that we ultimately lose so that we get better draft lottery odds. Next year is going to be our year. I agree with that. We spent a lot of time on the podcast this week really talking about going back to the idea of, Hackstall, the expansion draft, the choosing of Hackstall as coach, as being a more developmental coach. I think the Kraken, internally have a long-term plan. And I think, if you're not going to do well this year and you're going to get a high draft pick in what is a good draft class, it can only accelerate that plan. So there are positives to it. Nathan, and it seemed we were way too high up the ice there in overtime. Yeah, I think that was partly because they were in the process of a change, and so that's, just happens. Awful coverage by Alexiak on the Flyers' second goal left the scorer wide open. Really tough loss. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, the moment he turns kind of tracking the pass, he sees it, and you can see in his eyes he knows exactly what's coming. It's just a tough spot. I feel for him. Been in that situation. It is not fun at all. Sadly, we're too far into the season to make moral victory arguments, but it felt like they should have won for so much of that game. Yeah, agreed. I'm still going to take the moral victories just because they have been few and far between, and I want to celebrate them when they're there. Like I said, I want to celebrate progress and the team getting better and guys getting better like Lauzon, right? I think that's all been good, but I understand where you're coming from. Grubauer equals buyer's remorse. Maybe a little bit. For better or worse, the contract is long, so this will only be a small part of it. We'll see how things go long term. Jason, JMG, 19 seconds. Come on, Kraken. Totally let up after Lauzon's goal. 1,000%. I agree with that. That's just what happened. Greg, if this team just improved the level of score on two guys, we have 4 or 5 more wins. We are the most close bad team I've ever seen. Yeah, and it's kind of funny that a lot of you label them a bad team or lacking skill, all that stuff, but at the same time, right, you're saying they're a close team. And I've been talking about that, right, all night, kind of pushing the idea that on any given night they have the potential to beat anybody, and we've seen them beat top teams. We've seen them build a winning streak against top teams. It isn't it crazy how we could feel that way about them? Like, obviously the truth's got to lie somewhere in the middle there. But it is kind of a unique situation. I know me and RJ have talked about it off air, so to speak. Never quite seen something like this, where it's like this team that is perfectly capable of winning and they're just kind of not, and it makes sense that they're not, but it also doesn't make sense. Like, on paper it doesn't make sense, but the eye test is kind of telling you why they're not winning, but at the same time they look competitive. It is really odd. I've watched a lot of hockey, a lot of different levels of hockey, never quite seen a team like this, but at the same time I'm willing to kind of embrace that, because I think it's kind of fun. It's quirky, and I'll go with it. Let's see. Lindsay, hey, this was much better than the 6-1 effort the first time we faced the Flyers, though. Yeah, that game was terrible. That one was, I think it was either the last or the second to last game of that first road trip for them, and they were kind of banged up, and they were only been together for like a week, and that was a terrible game. This game was far better, Lindsay. Michael, too many times in both offensive zone and defensive zone, Kraken players are just standing still. Got to move your feet. Agree with that one, Michael. Especially because, the few times you see it, where you see the quick puck movement with the good passing and the feet movement, it's like that, the Lauzon goal that actually counted, right? Like, guys are kind of crisscrossing. It's getting the defense confused. The goalie is confused because he's having to move all over the place. Boom, you get a goal. Like, it can be that simple sometimes. You just got to get going with pace and with confidence. And I do think that they lack that, especially in the offensive zone, a lot, unfortunately. Should Hackstall just call a timeout immediately anytime this team takes a lead? It's not a bad idea, Striatic. I think that you might be onto something there. it's certainly possible. Certainly late in a third period, maybe it'd be worth it just to settle everybody down, remind them. It would be highly unusual, but it would be funny if he did. Lindsay, that one scoring chance where Donskoy nearly got his first made me laugh. He was like, "Oh, whoops, almost scored. Can't be doing that," and pulled it back. Lol. Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'll give him credit for is it doesn't seem totally like it's in his head. Like a lot of players at this point would just be like so in their head that they'd be making mistakes all over the place anytime they got close. That one, we've seen him a couple times this year just try to make one move too many, and I think that was just the case here. But yes, it was funny, and I really thought he had it. I so thought he had it. Nathan, also I missed Turbo, sad face. Yes, Nathan. Everybody, we all missed Turbo. That was devastating news. Out for the season, ACL injury. Not super common in hockey. Certainly not as much as in, let's say, like football or something where you have a lot of like quick lateral movements where you're really trying to explode to the side there. Can't really do that in hockey skates. So you don't see it too often, but yeah, that one's going to be rough. Hopefully everything goes okay surgery wise, and then recovery. And I'm sure we'll as things get underway there, we'll see him around and at things. I hope the Kraken and him, if he agrees to do it, kind of does that, because I think it would be fun to have him around on game days for stuff. I think that would be a lot of fun. Jared, it was nice seeing Yanni get one on his first game back. Yes, and it was a sick shot. And they were saying it was 92 miles an hour. I was like, damn, Yanni. Yeah, it was a sick shot. Again, take the shots. And it was a one-timer. Like, you gotta do that. Moment the puck gets there, take the shot. Good things happen. But yes, good for him. Really happy he's back. Unless they're leading by 2 or more in the third, I just hope and pray they can hold on. For some reason, they get more defensive while also allowing more chances late. That's from Sergeant Pickles. Yeah, again, they're quirky. Isn't it fun? Yeah, it's one of those things. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of wild, this team. You can see both sides of it very easily, and it's, like I said, it's unusual. It's kind of different, but that's our team. That's our team. Nathan, frustration aside, it's nice to be chatting post-game with y'all again. Hope everybody had a nice Christmas for those that celebrate, and y'all have a safe and happy New Year. I definitely second that. I'm sure many people do. And yes, I am super happy and thrilled to be back doing this again. I really missed it. I was really disappointed when those games kept getting canceled. And then it seemed like that Vancouver game was going to go. And then they're like, oh, no, last minute, all these games today are gone. I was just like, especially because we had the Patreon. We were going to do the whole game commentary. Ugh, really, really bugged me. Let's see. 2 things. 1, the refs need to fired for that stupid call for Lauzon's first goal. 2nd, no way we're going to the playoffs this season, or not even next season. Still think we need a new coach. That's from Daniel. I see what they were saying with the first goal, because Schwartz skates into the crease of his own volition, so to speak. So I think that's one of those where it in some ways takes some subjectivity out of it for the refs. So I get what they were saying on that one. I agree. Playoffs at this point, probably not going to happen. I think they could happen next year. Just you fix a couple things. Get goaltending right. So either Grubauer resets, or you have a healthy Drieger around so that, Grubauer isn't having to play a ton of games. That right there, this team's in a playoff position, or they're at least competitive for a playoff position right now. If just that one thing gets fixed, and that can sometimes just be a year by year thing. It could be a quarter by quarter thing, like a fiscal quarter thing. So I'm certainly not willing to, write off next season yet. Got to see, off season, all that stuff. Matty Beniers will be coming in. That could jumpstart some things offensively for guys. Donskoy is probably not going to go 30 plus games without getting a goal next year, hopefully. So I'm not willing to write off next season. Still think we need a new coach. I'd point you to the podcast. We talk about that. If the goal was to win this year, then yes, Hackstall probably wasn't the right coaching choice. But if the if the plan is long term and it's about developing prospects and getting, young guys ready to go and all of that, then I think Hackstall could still be the guy, and we're just not going to really see it this first season. But as guys like Matty Beniers come in, if they finish and have like a top 5 draft pick, there's easily the potential that that player comes in next season too. As that stuff, Riker Evans is playing fantastic. Got to think he's going to, certainly be competitive for a roster spot next year. So, I'd want to wait and see Hackstall work with those guys before I'd totally write it off long term. But yes, if the plan was we got to try to pull a Vegas year one, Hackstall was not the right coach for that. But I just don't think it was, given everything, all the decisions that the organization had made. Geo in the overtime. Why? From Alex. Just don't know. Let's see. Win or lose, I'm just happy that hockey's back and I can hang out with my ECH community. That's from Lindsay. It is nice to have everybody back. When Donskoy scores, we need a hashtag finally scored shirt. Yes, I was thinking about it today. Like I said, like one of the first things that popped in my head was like, got to do like a shirt to celebrate this. Like this is right up there with like, first shutout, first hat trick, first home win, right? Donskoy gets his first goal. It's going to be the thing that we're all going to remember from this inaugural season. So we'll definitely try to get something going on that and be ready for when the time comes. Joey, surprise, we lose another game in overtime, 0-4 now. Again, though, if they'd been able to do this earlier in the year, all those points would be adding up. So it's progress that they're doing it more often now. It's moving in the right direction. It's just the question of, is it too late, especially if you're going to try to rely on, overtime points rather than just straight up wins. Lindsay, still have never won an overtime game in franchise history. One of these days. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys give better odds to, winning an overtime game or Donskoy finally scoring? Which do you think is going to happen first? Because it'll be interesting. JP, well, can't wait for baseball season to start. Can't give up so quick, JP. It'll still be fun to watch the Kraken and stuff, but we'll see. I mean, baseball's still in. Do they still have their lockout going? Because that could, who knows when baseball season will start then. Unfortunately. Joey, I agree, no playoffs this season. First, we need a coach that knows what he is doing. Kind of talked about the coach stuff just recently. I don't know as well, probably because he's the captain or something. His skating should not make that possibility to any coach, though, referring to Giordano in overtime from Superfly. Yeah, I mean, they do seem like they just want to give Giordano heavy minutes, right? Power play, even strength time, like they are giving him heavy minutes, and I just don't know that he's in a place to handle that right now, unfortunately. I hate saying that about anybody, but it's what's going on. Alex, sadly no snow here in Florida. Not that that is a surprise or anything. I would just kill the clock on overtime at this point. I think they might have been trying to do that, to be honest, Alex. Like I said, they're very passive in overtime. Lindsay, okay, but imagine how dangerous we're going to be in the future with Matty Beniers plus Shane Wright, or at least a top 5 draft pick. The future looks bright. Yes, just talking about that. They have the talent to compete each night, but not enough talent to finish and actually win. I agree with that. The guys on the roster that are supposed to be the finishers are not finishing. And at the end of the day, they have to. They're the, guys like Eberle, Schwartz. They got to score. McCann, I mean, he's been doing pretty well. But, even he had a low shot total. I think he didn't get his first shot till like the third period today. He kind of disappeared. Like, I barely noticed him. I noticed him a little bit defensively and stuff, but I barely noticed him in the offensive zone. That was kind of weird. This seemed like a good night for him to come in and, make something happen. Let's see. Nowhere near enough. One tease from the D on low to high. Okay, nowhere near enough one-timers from the D on low to high passes. 1000% agree, Alex. They just do not take one-timers, and they have to start. Superfly, is anyone here as tired as I am with all that dump and chase and cycling on the outside forever? If they do it like they did on the Lauzon goal, where everybody's moving and they are cycling and they are like an active, cohesive unit, it's brilliant. It can work, and it will work, and they'll look like one of the most skilled teams out there. They don't do it nearly enough, though. They're kind of more like, it's almost like they think they can just set up like they're on the power play or something, 5-on-5, and I don't really know what that's about. And then yes, also if they're taking more one-timers when guys do have opportunity to take shots, whether they're wristers or whether they're just quickly collecting a wrister and going with it, or if it's a true like slap shot one-timer, that'll also help and make things look a lot better too. Um, that being said, you don't quite have to dump and chase to do all of those things. I will agree with you there. They're still very hesitant to enter the zone for some reason. Next to no Royal Road passes or slot shots either. Agree with that, Alex. Final guesses for the mascot. That's from Michael. Let's see. We got Alex with some kind of cartoony diver. I think it's going to be a diver. It seems like that's what they've been hinting at through most of this. All right, so we got RJ ready to join, so I'm going to quickly bring him in here. 1 second, everybody. All right, RJ. When are they going to bring down the tentacle?
I know it's just been sitting up there. This is 11 days now. It's just there. I don't know. And there's some balloons up there as well. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they're red, white, and green. I don't know. I figured they might be left over from some kind of Christmas thing. I don't know. But the balloons are still up there. The tentacle's still up there.
As Ryan Clark
They,
pointed out, there's Seattle Metropolitan colors.
yep.
So maybe there's something there. You came just in time for 3 studs from Sergeant Pickles here. Gord, McCormick, Lauzon. Those are pretty good choices from tonight.
I like that, and I love that McCormick was mentioned
Mm-hmm.
because he's not too flashy of a player, but every time he's been in the lineup, he's done all the little things right, and he just adds a lot to whatever line he's on, usually in the bottom 6. I was quite happy with McCormick's game. I'd like to see him as kind of this plug-in guy more often if they need someone. And Lozon, I'm sure you've talked about
Yeah.
that a whole bunch this game. Fantastic game from him.
Yeah, for sure. Only other person I'd consider would be Callie Yarncrook. Yarncrook did a lot. Again, not super flashy, but he was around a lot, it seemed like.
Yep.
Well, speaking of which, what's up with Yarncrook and Wenberg as the top line in overtime? Neither guy shoots the puck. Playing for shootout? Talked about this a lot. They are so passive 3-on-3. Like, most passive team I've ever seen 3-on-3.
Agreed. I mean, I just can't believe it. I mean, like looking at this, there's no real attempt to go out and win. Um, and actually, Hackstall was just asked in the in the post game presser, you know, okay, you're 0-4 in overtime games. What do you need to do differently? What kind of went wrong? And he's like, well, we gave up a breakaway. Like there was nothing hidden this time. We can't do that. But he didn't really address kind of the passivity, the not generating chances of your own. Which, yeah, if the other team's going to be pushing the envelope like the Flyers were, you're not going to do well.
No.
At first, I thought we might see another boring overtime like we did against Detroit.
Right.
And Daryl Sutter was up in the press bridge there.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he would just be like silently approving of that if that were to be the case.
Yes. No, I was. And it's kind of weird that they'd be playing for a shootout when the one shootout we've seen from them was not very good.
No, it did not go well.
Yeah. The usual invisible suspects remained invisible. Blackwell, Yarncrook. I noticed Blackwell. It wasn't always for good reasons, though. But
yeah. It's so tough, though, going through all he has. Again, coming off a COVID protocol, he just hasn't gotten a proper start to this season.
yeah. And then, Alex, I definitely let out a loud groan as my soul left my body when they immediately blew that lead. RJ, that one just. What were you thinking there?
I mean, I'm just thinking yet another one where defenseman shift, but it's just the focus. That's what it is. Like, and Hackstall talked about it after the game. He just like, we made a mistake. The defenseman needs to be over at his post so that he doesn't have to slide over as much. Yeah, but like that's the one real mistake you made. I think Axel even said as much. That's the one real mistake you made in the entire third period. It's just a lack of focus thing. You've got to get your guys thinking like, okay, we've got to just really attack this shift and make sure we do everything right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, we've seen it happen just too many times.
Yeah, I think it was Striatic that brought up the idea of if you score like late like that to take a lead, calling a timeout.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's like a little unconventional, but it might be what this team needs.
No NHL coach would ever do it because it's like admitting you have a problem and being proactive about it.
That's a good point. Very good point. They're not big on that. Hunter, when will you commit to tanking Dylan? End of January or February? Like I said, I am coming around to it. Like I said, it's hard though, especially when I know this team is capable of more. But I will say it does look like I'm going to be starting projects looking ahead towards doing scouting reports for this year's draft class soon. So my guess is as I start watching tape of everybody and I start compiling those reports and getting those videos together, I'll get excited about the Kraken potentially getting somebody there. And that's when I'll really jump on board with it. Nathan, also some big personal news. I'll be in town from Iowa attending my first Kraken game against the Blues in January. Please don't cancel it. I can't wait. Awesome for you, Nathan. Very, very happy for you.
Yep. Yeah, let me know at the game when you're there. We should meet up or something.
Yeah. Let's see. Superfly, next time we make it to OT, we should just pile up those 3 guys in front of our goal to block every shot and make it to the shootout.
Yeah, that's the problem. Just embrace the passiveness and just like be all out. Mm-hmm. Hi there.
I know.
John.
I know. Let's see. 3 duds. Not Lauzon, but rather Geo a step slow, no turbo, and feeling more and more that Grubauer is more Scott Darling than Vezina candidate despite the okay game. It's from Sergeant Pickles. Oof.
I don't know if we're in Scott Darling territory yet, but yeah. I mean, this one, he wasn't, on that second one, that's a tough shot. If you can hit the top corner with the goalie coming across, I mean, good luck to you. There's no goalie that can get to that. Yeah. You just got to be in position. The first one is one I would have liked to see him make. That's one where you'd like your high-paying goalie to make the save.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, only a few guys would A, even attempt that shot, and B, be able to place it as well as JVR did. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, it's a high-difficulty shot for sure, but that's why you pay the extra money so that your goalie can get those some of the time.
Yes, I'll give you that. Lindsay, I think the mascot will be a diver guy with the full compression suit, old helmet thingy, but I'd also like a pirate or Cthulhu-looking squid human hybrid. Lol. I mean, I'd love that too, but I think it's got to be the diver. Did you see anything like down in the lower depths?
Nope, nothing. They are being so good about keeping this totally secret. And I've talked to a bunch of people, up in the press bridge. Nobody has any idea. Yeah, I heard someone suggest that maybe a siren, there was some kind of Starbucks, marketing that was like part of with a siren that he saw. I think it'd be a Kraken-like thing to have a female mascot. No other team really has that. So yeah, I could see that as another possibility, but the deep sea diver seems most likely.
Yeah, just based on the few hints and stuff that we've had. I'm going to jump right in real quick and do the whiteboard thing that I've been talking about just before everybody leaves and it gets way too late. So one of the things I noticed tonight, RJ, was that it did seem like the Kraken had maybe watched some tape and stuff during their break because I noticed forwards get a little bit more active in the defensive zone, particularly covering the slot. Sometimes. It wasn't as constant as I would like, but it happened sometimes. And the most notable time for me, because it was really kind of strange, was the Flyers were coming off a rush. Lauzon took his guy. It was on his side, and he followed him along the half boards. Another Flyer was coming in, be ready for like a drop pass or something like that, right? Larson, instead of taking the middle, just hightails it all the way from his side as they come back into the zone over there to take that guy. And I'm like, why is Larson doing that? Like, they've just completely committed. Both of the defensemen are like way over here. They kind of ended up bunched up in the corner. And I was like, that's crazy. And it's Larson that's doing it. What is happening? But then Jared McCann just kind of came right in and like posted up in the slot and was like in perfect position to take away anything that was going to happen. And so that told me that they have planned this. They have looked at tape. They've worked on things because Larson knew somebody was going to take his position there if he went over to that other side. So very, very happy to see that. We talked about with Lauzon earlier. I mean, the fact that he's improving. We are seeing improvement on this team. They're getting to overtime now more. It's just maybe a
Yes.
little too late.
Yeah, that's a good observation. I do think the centers, were kind of more active in the D zone, and I did notice like some defensemen kind of committing, and I was thinking, what are they doing? I didn't take that next step to then look for who stepped in, but like, oh, it's not ending up in goals against them. So good.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you for explaining that one, Dylan.
yeah. All right, let's see. Alex, a lot of times overtime wins come from an odd man rush being stopped on one end and leading to an odd man rush the other way. Ideally, Gru would make a big save there. Yeah, agreed. And I think it was just one of those. Provorov had so much time. He was able to make so many moves that it was just impossible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was just enough time. Yeah, there's not much you can do there.
Yeah. Canucks won 2-1 in overtime in Anaheim to make it 7 in a row. That is impressive for the Canucks, unfortunately.
You see Boudreau's festive holiday mask? That was awesome.
No, I didn't. Oh, bummer, I missed it.
Go look it up after the yeah.
I will. Kraken Hawk, what a shame. This felt like a win. For a good portion of the game, Seattle was always attacking. I even forgot who was in goal for us. Either way, it's nice to have hockey back after the hiatus. Yeah, and we get so much hockey the next couple days, RJ.
Yes, love it.
Yeah. Let's see. That winning streak was the only time the team got anything done. So far, we've gotten half of our wins during that 7-game stretch. Yes, would hope that they could get back to doing that. But again, they got a point tonight. We'll see what happens tomorrow against a Calgary team. That's, it's going to be interesting to see how Calgary plays, given how crazy their whole situation's been.
For sure. And I mean, I wonder what was going through Daryl Sutter's mind watching this game as the Kraken are going, 8, 9, 10-minute stretches without allowing a shot on goal. I mean, are we going to see any shots just total in the game tomorrow? I don't know.
That 1-0 shot and goal game, oh, it's his dream. Yep. That's totally his dream, and he'll make it happen. Sergeant Pickles, I don't think this team was built with 100% clear vision. I'm not sure why they invested in some higher salary vets if they knew this wasn't the year. Yeah, because I was talking earlier about what we had talked about on the podcast on Monday about it seemed like the Kraken at the expansion draft and through everything long-term approach with Hackstall as the coach and everything. But yes, I mean they did make moves in free agency, perhaps more than we thought they would. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah, I think they kind of changed course a little bit once they found some free agents that they wanted to go after.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that they did not think Grubauer was going to be available to them, and that obviously changed things. I think Schwartz was probably always in the cards, but
agreed.
Again, he's got to get scoring more. I just
got
to see that. All right, let's see. Stratic, the problem is with all the cap space and undrafted scorers left on the table, this team could have easily had 2 better scores and a much better record. Having a single bad contract on the team when you have the space for it is fine if that player can score. Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of this on Monday. It's hard because, again, you were going to run into so many roster difficulties. They already have, right? They've lost guys on waivers just because there's too many guys. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just an interesting situation. Let's see. Superfly, Sergeant Pickles, yeah, there are some strange decisions, especially in free agency after Francis talked about this being a more traditional 3 to 5 year plan and then signed guys in their late 20s. Yeah, I mean, I think to some extent it does make sense. You have to be competitive this year because it's the first year. You don't want the fan base, to be like, oh, this team sucks, and
you don't want to be
momentum.
Totally out of the playoff race. You don't want to be totally out of the playoff race by Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I know. Ideally, you don't want to do that year one. You want to kind of build momentum with the fan base. You want to do all that. But, yes, it did not happen that way at all. Let's see. McCann and Eberle seem to be impersonating Ghost tonight. Yeah, I mean, outside of seeing him defensively, McCann was just nowhere to be found in this one, RJ.
Yep. No, for sure.
Donskoy saving his goal scoring until 2022. Yeah, but when he has the first 80-goal season that we've seen in like 30 years, it's going to be awesome.
Yep. You'll be glad it was worth the wait.
Yep, every night. All with assists from Matty Beniers. Primary assist from Matty Beniers. Let's see. RJ, We got Lauzon and Larson. Not much new from them. Talked about no moral victories and needing to tighten up after scoring goal ahead goal. Go ahead goal. Yeah,
Yep.
they nailed it. Jagar, even through the losses and frustration, we all love the Kraken. Yep, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Ty, missed my first game due to birthday stuff. Is it worth watching or should I skip it? Not missing the post game with the ECH crew though. Well, thank you for joining us on your birthday, Ty, and happy birthday. Hope you had fun.
Yeah,
And
happy birthday, Ty.
and watch the second period. That was really awesome.
Yep, watch the second period.
Watch the second
there
period.
you go.
Sergeant Pickles, Hack gets at least midway into next season to at least show overall improvement and young player development. Hoping a full off season together helps. I think it has to. Like, there's just no way it doesn't with this team.
Exactly. I really do think it will.
And it'll also give them time to really flesh out what kind of roster they want and everything more so.
For sure. You got a ton of flexibility going into next off season. Knowing what you know now, you can make whatever changes you need.
Yeah. Any updates about the Russian goaltender we drafted this year? That's from Daniel. I am spacing on his name, but he has been doing very, very well. Yes. But he has been doing fantastic over there from what I'd seen, at least at the start of the season. I haven't checked more recently, but I know through the first part of the season he was doing really, really well. So I see what you were asking there, Daniel, by the way. The subtext. On the Geo and overtime thing, I was thinking more of his poor shot selection being a real detriment in overtime, but someone else made a better point above. I assume about the skating. Yeah, the Kraken are embracing playing from the perimeter, RJ, but no one seems comfortable just shooting the puck. Like, they all have to settle the puck down before they shoot it, regardless of what type of shot it is, and it drives me crazy, RJ.
We had Hayden Fleury for 2 games. Playing the way that we want to see a lot of these defensemen playing. That's all we've got.
Yep, I know. Aaron, we need a poll feature here in chat. Yeah, can we do that? Oh, we can. Create a poll. Okay. I will remember that for next time. All right, that is awesome to know. Thank you, Aaron.
Awesome.
Yeah, the lockout's still going, referencing baseball. They messed it up once. Hope they won't make that mistake again. Let's see. Aaron, speaking of prospects, Riker Evans is tearing it up for Regina. Out of this world. Doing fantastic. I was going to do a scouting report thing about him, much like the kind of updated Beniers one I did. It is just so hard to get major junior footage. And so it's hard for me to get the footage just to watch and evaluate him, and then certainly to get the footage to put together a video, which is why I think I'm going to pivot just to the top prospects for next year's draft and kind of get a head start there, especially because it seems like that's where the Kraken are headed anyway. But yes, I would have loved to do a Riker Evans video because absolutely fantastic. And that whole Regina team is like crazy fun to watch the few times I can get to see them.
Yeah.
Sergeant Pickles sadly got to dip out early, everyone. Great to be back, but got to get up early. And thaw out my car. See you, Sergeant Pickles. I get it. Hockey Mom, who do you think will be in net tomorrow night? I mean, it's going to be Drieger, right?
Gotta be. Back-to-backs. Gotta go Drieger.
Yep. Let's see. Drieger. Heard the Jolly Rancher was spotted in the building spying on the Kraken. It's from Kitty v. Kraken. Love it.
Sure was.
Cameron, RJ's the snow coming down outside the arena.
Yes, it is. It's awesome. Yep. After the game started snowing, it just looks beautiful out there. I'm kind of excited, when this is over, to get out and just walk through it and enjoy the snow outside the arena.
Yep. You get gloves?
No, I did not get gloves. Yeah, Dylan was going to bring some gloves up to me his trip up, so I've got to find a way to get some gloves. I'm sure they're all sold out around here now.
I was going to say, if anybody up there's got a glove connection, let RJ know.
Yeah, come on.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure the coaching police hauls away any coach who calls a timeout when leading. Yeah, I agree with that, Alex. Probably. It's just all the unemployed coaches that do it.
Yep.
Comparing Grubauer to Scott Darling is heresy. That's from Aaron. Alex, on the World Juniors, I did catch that one USA game. Beniers really impressed with his zone entries and his puck retrievals. They didn't play him as much as I would have thought, though. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't. I kind of thought he was going to be a focal point, but they seem to want to keep him more in that, like, you're going to be our two-way guy kind of like the Yanni Gord role in Tampa. That's what it reminded me of. But yes, his zone entries, I mean, he is what the Kraken need. That is for sure. Someone who's just going to hit the blue line with speed and confidence and get in there, make some stuff happen. Medeiros, I kind of based my feelings more on if I saw improvement overall, and I feel like I did tonight. The miscues suck, but my blood pressure was pretty low the whole time, it felt like. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, we have these long stretches without even allowing a shot on goal. That'll
Mm-hmm.
help you quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, they just showed some elite shot suppression for most of the game,
Yeah.
which, when they're playing like that, they should be able to beat anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should. Got a couple people here on the East Coast talking about it's like past 1:30. Lindsay's taking off
Boy,
near
yeah.
1 a.m., but gonna be here tomorrow for Calgary. See ya, Lindsay. Same thing from Joshua. It's past 1:30. Thanks as always for the post game. Just glad hockey's back. Also, thanks again to you guys and Dylan's mom. Kraken stocking was a huge hit. Yes, congrats on winning that, Joshua. Happy it made the trip safe, and definitely I'll let my mom know. Don't know if she's staying up to watch this or not. So we'll see. And then this one will be last comment of the night. Medeiros also, I am petty and get a lot of energy from knowing that one day we will be truly incredible. And I know how hard fought that was. And I will be not humble about being here in the beginning, lol. Yes, that is the attitude to take, I think. I mean, that's certainly the traditional hockey fan route to take. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yep. One day, things are going to be great. The Kraken are going to be dominant, and we're going to remember the entire road there.
Mm-hmm. And it'll feel that much better for us, So
absolutely.
Keep coming back, everybody. Hunter, going to be watching from Hawaii tomorrow. Nice flex, Hunter. Nice flex. It'd be nice, like a nice afternoon, early evening game too, I think. I don't know exactly the time zone difference. Afternoon, I think.
3 hours earlier than us.
Yeah, all right. So there you go. All right.
4 o'clock start.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for this one. Glad to be back. Glad to have everybody back. Glad everybody seems to be doing okay. See everybody tomorrow.